Yo, what's going on, Senpai? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're talking about episode 121 of Boruto. We're back at it again with the Urashiki arc, and this episode was a huge improvement on the last one. From animation to pacing to captures the viewer's interest to the inclusion of side characters, every last bit of this episode was better than last week's. And in my opinion, this is what the anime-only arcs in Boruto should be like, or at least the majority of them, because these are arcs centered and focused around not only main plot, it's not the main plot, obviously it's not manga, but it's kind of like a branch off from that. It includes the Otsutski, for a start, and it includes the main side characters, like I was saying, Shinki and his team. We've not seen them since the tuning exam, that's over a year ago. So finally, we're back again with what I think most of the main community call the main plot. This is the story we care about, these are the characters we care about. Sorted. So then I don't have to keep on reminding you guys know the drill. 50% of you went with 5 stars. That is a madness. 29% with a 4 star and then 10% with a 1 star. That's a bit of an interesting one. Anyway, let's go through some of the comments. The King of Games starts us off with, it felt slightly underwhelming. I think the Urashiki battle sequences should have been slightly extended. I felt the episode was stretched unnecessarily after that point. These are the minor pacing issues. That said, I like the character interactions between Boruto and Shinki. The humor elements I think were well written. I enjoyed the episode overall. Interesting point. I haven't got it written down in my notes for this episode, but I see a lot of people talking about it and I do fully agree. The Urashiki versus Gaara fight could have been made a lot longer, in my opinion. Whether or not they're saving animation and budget for a much bigger fight later on down the line, a lot like they did last week with that fight, I'm not too sure, but I definitely think that could have been extended at the expense of some other scenes. One scene in particular, which I will come to a little bit later on. Eternal Strike Gamer, 5 stars. I loved the episode. The world building and consistently was great. Liked how Kankuro's acting like a great father, though he isn't married, and the relationship between Boruto and Shinki is so interesting. It reminds me of the bonds between Naruto and Sasuke. That's an interesting comparison outside of the usual comparing them between Naruto and Gaara. KSF Superstar, welcome back. He says, I like that Shinki is addressing all of Boruto's problems while still obvious to his. The episode was very good. I have a theory on why Urashiki is collecting chakra though. I think Jigen was directing all the Otsutski members this whole time. What do you think? Maybe that 10-tailed beast. Now you see, I was going to make a theory about all of that, about how Momoshiki, Kinshiki, Urashiki were all working under Jigen, especially after the chapter a few chapters ago where we saw him with the Otsutski transformation. I did want to make a theory video on it, but I thought, I don't know, it's all just massive speculation, so I didn't go into it, but I'm glad that I'm not the only one that thought it. Aaron Gwillan, compared to the episodes back then, it's great. Action was little but good. Shukaku was funny and cute. Boruto and Shinki relationship is not good. If you go back, Shinki had Boruto in high standards for being Naruto's son, but now Shinki thinks he's a cheating, annoying brat. And then I think we're going to leave it off with this one from Different, saying, it was a very good episode, enjoyed many scenes and Shinki's character overall. Can't ask for a better than original arc, but if your saga continues like this, consistently and enjoyable, it will be one of my favourite original arcs, possibly my fave. And I think that's probably going to be the same for most people. I think most people know that my favourite original arc at the minute is the Mitsuki arc, but I think this arc has so much potential to be better than it may be, to a stretch even better than the Momoshiki arc. Anyway guys, thank you all for your comments. Be sure to leave more in the future. If I didn't read yours, I do apologise. Anyway, let's crack on into what I think. Personally, I'm going to go with a 4 stars this week. Like I was saying, I thought it was a gigantic improvement on last week's, and I believe last week I went with a 3. This week I've bumped it up to a 4. I think once Urashiki comes back, I think Urashiki's going to be gone now for a couple of episodes. Obviously Sasuke looks like he's going to be gone for a couple of episodes. I think we're in the build-up phase now to to when they return, probably around the midway point of the arc. Obviously, how stories work, you got the middle point, you got the climax, the tip at the top where all the story builds up to, and then after that it comes down towards the end. I think the top of that story pyramid is going to be Sasuke and Urashiki returning, and that's definitely going to be a big point in the arc, and I think until then it's going to be a bit more relaxed, but I think as soon as they're back, boom, we're due a 5-star episode, I think, then. So the fight between Shukaku, Gaara, Urashiki, all of those, the animation on that was brilliant, and like someone said before, I think if it was extended it would have been absolutely fantastic, and I probably would have gone for a 5-star this week, but the animation compared to what we got last week was just on a whole other level. It was unbelievable. And talking of that fight, Urashiki, man, he's such a badass. Like, Urashiki was seemingly just like toying with them, and I honestly can't wait to see the end of this arc. And no, not because I want the arc to finish not even remotely close, but just because I feel like I can almost guarantee that Urashiki's going to be a literal monster by the end of it. He's probably going to use some of Sasuke's chakra. Obviously, you got to remember, he's still got Mitsuki's Sage Mode, which he's not tapped into. Looks like he's got a bit of Teneri's chakra as well, as he's got his puppets. All the potential. If he fuses all that together, then he is arguably, potentially, and this is a long shot, he could be even more fearsome than the likes of Momoshiki. Like, he's going up against Gaara, Shinki and Boruto as well, if they really count. They're nothing more than just flies, really, to him. But also, so Gaara, Sasuke, a tailed beast. And if I'm honest, he hardly looks like he's even trying. He's not even really attacking them that much, apart from just swinging his fishing rod around and flying away a little bit. Obviously, he got sealed away by Gaara in this episode, and he didn't really even seem to care. He just sort of sat back and thought, I suppose. I mean, dinner's not for a few more hours, so I can chill here for a bit if I really need to. Because if he felt like he was in a spot of bother, he could have just teleported out there. But he just thought, I don't really care, to be honest. Crack on, I got my puppets, I'll just sit here and, I don't know, watch telly for a bit. But once he was sealed away, the proper setup for the beginning of the arc really started to take place, and we started to get a few goals and missions in mind, such as transporting Shukaku to Naruto. That's going to be one of them. That's going to probably take up the next few episodes until Urashiki and Sasuke return, in my opinion. We had development goals set in place for Shinki. Obviously, that sort of alludes to the fact that Shinki's going to play a big role in this arc and his development for his character overall. We saw a bit of Shikamaru as well in the preview, I want to say. I think what will happen is a 3-man squad will temporarily be put into place with Boruto, Shikadai, and Shinki. That'd be interesting because they're two people who were very, very distraught at the fact that Boruto cheated. So Boruto being put on a team with them is going to be very, very interesting to see what the character dynamics between the three of them will be. Because obviously Boruto and Shikadai are best friends, but Shikadai and Shinki sort of have this indirect bond with each other because they saw that side of Boruto and had it used against them as well. Also, while we're on the topic of Boruto and Shinki, I actually saw quite a few people saying that they don't want it to be a Naruto and Gaara clone, and I even saw some people take it to the extent of saying, I don't even want a handshake at the end of this arc, because as you guys remember the Kazekage retrieval mission, Naruto and Sasuke at the end, Naruto and Gaara even at the end, they did a handshake, and people were saying, oh, I hope at the end of this, Shinki and Boruto don't do that. Personally, and although I do agree I don't want a Naruto and Gaara clone between them because that's just so cheap and predictable, what I would like is actually a fist bump between them. A modern solution to the handshake. It's sort of kind of like, I don't know, it sort of signifies the evolution and progression of the modern generation. They've gone from a handshake to a fist bump. It's something small, but I'd like it from a story perspective. I think it would work. Carrying on, however, with their relationship, personally, I think it's not over-exaggerated as much as it was in this week's episode over the next couple of ones, because although I understand why there's conflict, I feel as though the writers were really over-exaggerating it this week, and there was that one scene in particular, and this is that scene I was on about, which I think should have been scrapped and replaced with an extended Urashiki fight, and that was the Shukaku going to pee thing. That scene was pure plot convenience. It didn't hold any story convenience. It wasn't important at all, is what I'm trying to get to. Like, it just created more conflict between Shinki and Boruto that didn't need to be established. We got that they didn't like each other and didn't get on that well, but it didn't need to be furthered with that. And if it was, it could have been done in a much better way. And for anyone who says,
but senpai, without that, we wouldn't know if tail beasts need the toilet.
Whoop-de fucking do. Like, who cares? That scene is not important whatsoever. I don't care. So yeah, it was just used for making plot convenience to make their conflict heightened even more, and I personally wasn't a fan of it. Like I said, I would have much preferred that was scrapped, or at least made shorter, or changed into something different to build their conflict, or just replace it with an extended Urashiki fight. Yeah, one or the other. But saying all that, I'm extremely hyped for next week, seeing Kankuro taking on Toneri's puppets, because I didn't used to like puppet fights in Naruto, but over the last year or so, since I did my Naruto rewatch last year, I've really come to enjoy puppet fights, because they're sort of like the last little bit of sort of tactical ninja fights that we get, that unlike the more modern day laser beams flying around, all this type of stuff, monster battles. It's sort of a more grounded version, and I do appreciate it, and I can't wait to see Kankuro in action. Hopefully it's longer than the fight we got this week, but hopefully the animation is just as good, if not better. I'm not going to hold you back, Studio Perio. Do what you like. You can make it better if that's what you really want. I'm not going to stop you. But guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you're not ready to become a member of the Senpai Squad. And as always, I'll be seeing you guys in another video. But until then, peace. おびき寄せられた神々の化身恐れを知らぬ剣が貫く目指す場所とはまだ見ぬ定め近づいてくる決戦の時